I'm going to teach you a little bit about residential roof types. So let's start out. And these are the things that we're going to cover today. What you'll see here is a little picture of how people will load up shingles on top of a roof. Use a little conveyor system like this. So we'll start with roof shapes. So what you should do is create a new Google Doc that is entitled Roofs, Residential Roofs, and add the notes directly into this. It may be helpful to take some screenshots also as you do this. So if you click print screen or press print screen, then you can type in Control V and that will paste in whatever it is that you took a screenshot of. So that's one way. There's many ways to do it. You may want to do that with some of the different roof shapes. So first of all, just the purpose of them is just to protect occupants from weather, and they come in many different shapes. So this is one area where you may want to take a screenshot of this and then add this to your notes. You have shed roofs, the slanted gable comes up and down. A hip does not have this flat face, this large face of the side of the building. It comes down on all edges. This is a gable with dormer. The dormer is this piece that comes out right here. A flat roof, a gambrel roof, which is typically sometimes called a barn style. This is a gable roof with a valley, so it has an extension. The valley is this piece in here. And this is a hips type roof with valleys. So you can see this gets a lot more complex once you had hips and valleys. And this is typically how most homes now, newer homes, are built, with hips and valleys. So here's some different construction roofing materials. So please note this also. You have metal, clay or cement tiles, asphalt shingles. These are very common in our area, although we do see some clay and cement tiles. Wood or cedar shingles on the top, and then slate. So probably the most common in our area are clay and asphalt. Roofs can also be a sustainable space and allow in some natural light, and that can give builders LEED certification, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That's kind of the green certification for building. They can also be used to collect energy, and you see a lot of roofs, especially in Colorado, because of the amount of sun. You see them with solar panels. Reflective roofs, and this might be a flat roof, might have a white surface on it, can reduce cooling energy costs by just reflecting solar energy. So let's take a look at how you determine roof pitch. It's rise and run. So you measure how high up you have to go and how far over you have to go to get kind of this right triangle effect. So what is your overall rise to your overall run? And typically it's measured for every 12 inches horizontal. So how many inches do we rise up for every 12 inches we go horizontal? And this is a 7-12 pitch. So that's this example, rise 7, run 12. It's always pronounced 7-12. If you have a steeper pitched roof, you might have a 12-12 roof. You don't reduce that to a 1-1. It's still called a 12-12. And that really is a 45-degree angle. A very, very shallow roof might be like a 3-12 or a 4-12 pitch. Most roofs in Colorado, though, are probably going to be something like this 7-12 pitch. A roof truss is an assembly of members framing this rigid framework, and we got to see some of these in some of our classes when we went to building sites. You may have seen some in some other construction sites if you've ever seen construction in the process. And it's all these triangular members. These are all done in a factory, and they're all pre-cut and pre-measured, and they even have lasers that shoot the design down on the floor, so all they have to do is lay them into place, and then they're tied together using big, large metal plates that have all sorts of spikes into them. So they just pound these spiky plates in at these joints, and that's how they create these roof trusses. Another option for roofing is rafters, where you just have one beam coming up this side, another one coming up this side, and then you have a tie. It's called a collar tie to hold them together up on the top, and that leaves this big wide open space in here. And what that can allow is for a wide open ceiling or an open attic space. You can see there's a doorway, potentially a doorway on this side, although that looks like you bang your head over here. But it can be used for extra space in an attic, or it can be used to make a big vault, in which case you'd have to put insulation up right inside each one of these rafters to still insulate the house. So we have pitched roofs. Pitched roofs have plywood sheathing, and then underneath the plywood sheathing you have this thing called tar paper. You can see it kind of sticking out on the edge here. And then after that is shingles, and we have already looked a little bit on that when we looked at our wood frame systems. So take a look at this, see if you can identify the roof type. and this one is a flat roof type. So one downside of a flat roof type, it's not really a downside, it's just a consideration, is that you have to be able to drain it. Pitched roofs, the water just sheds off the top. But when you have a flat roof, it has to have a drain. So this still has to have a slope in it to some extent, and then water collects over in the edges, and then that usually will drain off to the sides. So what would you identify this roof as? That's right, it's a shed roof. How about this one? Hopefully you said that this is a gable. And this one here? This is a hip roof, and also has a valley in here. And this one? This is a gable with dormers, all these little dormers kind of sticking out here. And this roof type is gambrel. So hopefully you're following along with this and kind of quizzing yourself as we go. So that is it for different roof types, and let's move on to wall systems.